how are they going to live behind those 2-foot stone block walls and have any know what God was like? Let's say for a moment that they were achieving some measure of holiness by their actions, and I don't think that they necessarily are, but even if they were, what good is it to anybody? God's not making you holy for you. He's making you holy for Him. You can spend 8 hours a day in a confessional like Martin Luther sometimes did, but without pleasing God, because God already took care of your guilt. He already nailed it to the cross. Now you have to get out into the world and you have to do something with it. Now I'm coming down hard on the introverts, but hang on. The extroverts, it's your turn here in just a second. The reason he gave us the second metaphor is to convey the message, but to give it to us from a different perspective. We need to understand what we're supposed to be about. Yes, be in your house, read the Word, be in fervent prayer, do all of those things, but do your good works for the glory of God who is in heaven. Now, I know I come off as an introvert, right? I have a little bit of the opposite problem. I already alluded to it earlier. Maybe some of you all share this problem too. Instead of shying away from the limelight, we might have a tendency to be attracted to it. It's kind of nice standing up here on Sunday. You run the risk of doing things so that others will teach you. You're not glorifying God. You're glorifying yourself. And so we who might struggle in this area are going to need to pray that God would give us a humble heart so that we would pursue good works in order that Jesus would be the one who is famous in this world. In fact, dear friends, it's the thing that scares me a little bit about some of the very large churches in America. Some of them are very faithful, have very faithful pastors. But we just saw a situation out on the West Coast where one of those churches just absolutely imploded because there was a problem with one of these pastors' church of 13,000 people. And when there was a problem with pride in that person, admitted by the pastor, problem with pride in that pastor's heart, the whole church collapsed. How much glory does God receive when that happens? I mean, friends, that was in the secular media. When you've got a church that's got a multi-million dollar budget that falls apart, it's got to make it onto the New York Times website. That's not good. The New York Times website already doesn't think good things about us, right? I read the site, I'm just saying. We're not supposed to just shine the light of Christ privately. We're not supposed to just shine the light of Christ so that others think that we are good people. Shine your light before others so that they will give glory to God. Think about where Jesus is when he is preaching these words. He is the city sitting on the top of a hill. This is the Sermon on the Mount. But friends, he has ascended into heaven. It's the disciples who are now on the top of the hill. Or at least that's where they're supposed to be. Those are Christian athletes. We're at some high school. Thanksgiving meals that you guys may serve. Your friends and your neighbors and your coworkers who don't know Jesus Christ. Missionaries that are leaving from Mexico, Thailand, wherever. There is no lack of opportunity to shine the light of Christ in Alexandria, Northern Virginia, D.C. metro area, and the uttermost parts of the world. If you can't think of something to do, Pastor Hayes, he will be more than happy to set you up. Work with the other ministers in the church. You'll be good. When the church sends out an email and says, hey, we need people to come and serve, show up. When the pastor says to you, are you serving? Are you being salt and light? Ask yourself, really and truly, am I? And then say, here I am, send me. You don't have to be sent out of the country. You don't have to be sent out of the state. I guarantee you that within a stone's throw of every one of your houses, there are people that need the salt and light of Jesus Christ. So whether it's your home, your workplace, your neighborhood, or the church here, do those good works. Do them from pure motive for the glory of God, that he might be famous. Let's not just sing about it.